Ladies and gents, welcome back. The language has been changing over the years. What we used to call a conspiracy theory is now referred to as a spoiler alert. And this is because, well, if you were to suggest that Canada may have a digital ID system coming into place only a week ago, you'd be told to take that tinfoil hat off. But here we are. Trudeau government to introduce National Digital ID program. This is reported by True North News. A report published last week on revamping the government of Canada's digital infrastructure states that the next step to making services more convenient is to introduce a federal digital ID program. Details of this program were scarce in the publication titled Canada's Digital Ambition 2022, which was signed off by President of the Treasury Board, Mona Fortier, and Chief Information Officer Canada, Catherine Lulo. Sorry, mispronunciation on that one. Citing the pandemic, the report outlines how federal framework would also be integrated with provincial digital identities. The COVID-19 pandemic highlighted the need for government services to be accessible and flexible in the digital age. The next step in making service more convenient to access is federal digital identity program. Integrated with pre-existing provincial platforms, the report explained. Digital identity is the electronic equivalent of a recognized proof of identity document, for example, the driver's license or passport, and confirms that you are who you say you are in a digital context. Steps currently underway to implement the program include developing a common and secure framework to digital identity and launching public consultations on federally managed digital ID framework. Now, this isn't the first we've heard of this. Let's pop this up here. I shared this on the channel only a few months ago.
Canada is on the cusp of a revolutionary innovation that will transform the way Canadians authenticate themselves online and protect their identity. Digital ID. All of us are living in a digital world, but we're tethered to an analog model of how we identify ourselves, memorizing countless online passwords, carrying government-issued licenses, plastic cards, and more. Digital ID is a way for Canadians to identify themselves to government, businesses, and each other electronically, with ease and rock-solid security, without the need to present physical documents. One interconnected network. A federated digital ID ecosystem developed in collaboration with Canada's best and brightest talent from our banks, telecommunication companies, law enforcement, and government. It would have
it'll have power and security. These are the things that we want less of in our lives, but we're having this come down the pike at us. Now, the Justice Center for Constitutional Freedoms weighed in on this, posted on August 10th, 2022. Calgary, the Justice Center today released a new report on the real and growing threat of digital ID technologies in Canada. This report, entitled Canada's Road to Beijing, outlines the Chinese Communist Party's use of digital ID technologies to suppress freedom in China. Cautions Canada about the immediate and increased threat of government use of these technologies and shows how they could impact charter-protected rights and freedoms. This is the Chinese social credit system we've all been hearing about, and this is what's down the pike for us. Digital ID and digital currency technologies are hardly novel, having been extensively developed and implemented in the People's Republic of China under the Chinese Communist Party, CPC for short, since 2009. These technologies have armed the CPC to blacklist and segregate Chinese and even Canadian citizens for criminal behavior, for disseminating controversial beliefs, for holding religious gatherings, for having too many children, and even for purchasing too many video games. So if you like those video games, yeah, maybe this Chinese Communist Party digital ID is not for you. Now, Market Mania on YouTube, a chronically under-subbed channel. Go check them out. I'll leave a link in the description down below. Weighed in on this with a whiteboard sketch of how the digital currency, digital ID and currency is going to work on a social credit score in Canada.
Let's talk about it. So basically, down the bottom here, you've got the bad people. They're the litterers. They're the protesters. They're the people who default on debt, even though not through fault of their own. And then the okay citizens, they're in the middle. Alcohol and tobacco goes against those citizens. Their bank records are being extracted and thrown into the data harvest, which is down here, which we'll get into later. And then, of course, your favorite, the global elite, are at the bottom here, and they have the best carbon scores. They're the enforcers, and they also get the discounts, ironically, on the products, even though they are the richest members of society. Sounds like a really fair system, doesn't it?
Yeah, doesn't it? And here we are right there. China is already doing it. Link in the description down below. Go watch his video in its entirety. You can check that out. But hey, who has admiration for China? Well, our very own prime minister here. This is him back in 2015.
The level of admiration I actually have for China, because their basic dictatorship is allowing them to actually turn their economy around on a dime and say, we need to go green as fast as we need to start, investing in solar. I mean, there's a flexibility that.
There's a flexibility. Yeah, he goes on about how awesome would that be if Harper had that power. Well, Harper didn't go for that power, and some people disagree with what Harper did. But yes, Justin Trudeau admiring China for their ability to turn the economy around on a dime with their basic dictatorship. Now, here's a little bit more. This is a report from Global News. Bank of Canada should start using digital currency, experts say. Oh, God.
Bitcoin is probably the best known digital currency in the world. A digital currency is available exclusively in electronic form, and a central bank issued digital currency, unlike Bitcoin, which isn't controlled by a single entity, would be issued and overseen by a central bank. One of the biggest challenges would be figuring out how to take existing currency, loonies and bills, and convert it into a purely digital form. Cash use has decreased dramatically during the pandemic for health and practical reasons. More than 80% of central banks around the world are researching how to leverage this technology, including the Bank of Canada, which has been studying digital currencies for 7 years. But China is the only major economy that started real-life trials. This month, it's giving out more than $7.7 million worth of digital yuan as part of a pilot project. Observers say it's preparing a national launch, a move to lower transaction costs, spur economic growth, and with an eye to giving the U.S. a run for its money as the world's dominant currency.
It's very important, given the pace of progress that's happening in China, that countries like Canada and the U.S. stop studying and start doing. I think that there are benefits to central bank digital currencies if done correctly.
In an email to Global News,
benefit to central bank digital currencies. And here we are where they're pushing this kind of thing. And this leads to one road. It leads to digital serfdom, where the government is in control of all the things. And if you dissent against the government, if you're a dissident or you're seen as an enemy of the political party in power at the time, you will be punished, and you can be punished, and it is done exceedingly with more ease from their end. All they have to do is push a button and turn you off. And if you have any doubts of whether the Canadian government would do something like that, here's a report here. The federal bank, and this is from Western Standard News, federal banks asked employees to secretly record the names of Freedom Convoy supporters. Now, why would they do that? Why in the world would they do that? Here we are, ladies and gents, where conspiracy theory has come full circle, and we are in the realm of, well, spoiler alerts, your favorite channels on YouTube who have been telling you this stuff is down the pipe. Well, they were absolutely right, and this is where we are. I'm just surprised at how flagrant and open they are about it at this point, given the concerns people have with this. But we'll see what the kind of adoption rate will be with this. Let us know. Let us know. Let me know in the comments. Are you going to just go along with this, or are you going to take exception with this? Are you going to be like, here, donaldbest.ca, I will not comply with Trudeau Singh government's national ID program. It stops here. This is the Hill. If you accept digital ID, they'll have the tools they need to destroy you for any reason without due process. I concur. Leave a comment in the comment section down below. Let me know what you think about this. If you're not yet subscribed to the channel, please do that now. Hit that notification bell. Let you know when we go live, which I'll be doing tonight. Tonight at 6:30 Pacific time, usual Friday night live stream. We'd like to hang out and discuss all the stories that didn't get to throughout the course of the week. And well, I'll be doing an extra bonus stream this week. Be streaming with my favorite author here in Canada so far, and that is Derek Smith, the writer of How the Prime Minister Stole Freedom. We're going to be doing a special bonus stream on Saturday night, so check that out at 7 p.m. Pacific time. Check your local listings. We'll see you then. Keep on trucking.